Welcome to What's Trending, your go-to podcast for staying informed about what's trending in the ever-evolving landscape of Westchester and beyond. We are your hosts, Amanda DePalma, Senior Vice President of Events and Development, and Dr. Marsha Gordon, President and CEO of the Business Council of Westchester.
On today's episode, we're diving into a season that brings out the best in our region. Fall is right around the corner, and here in Westchester, that means local traditions, sports, cider season, and of course, some of the best cultural programming in the region. We're excited today to be joined by three community leaders who represent what makes fall in Westchester so unique. Mitch Baruchowitz, Principal Owner, CEO of Westchester Soccer Club, Peter Pockriss, Chief Operating Officer of Historic Hudson Valley, and Geoff Thompson, owner of Thompson's Cider Mill and Orchard in Croton-on-Hudson and founding partner of Thompson & Bender. What's Trending is sponsored by M&T Bank and Thompson & Bender. Thank you both for your support of the BCW Podcast Network.
At M&T Bank, we're continuously working to provide value to our customers. Like Lou, the CEO of OOFOS, a revolutionary footwear brand.
I think the thing I like most about working with M&T Bank is knowing they care. They sincerely care about us as a company. It's not just about the business transaction. They personally care about our business and our success and would make decisions that go above and beyond to achieve that.
See what banking together can do for you at mtb.com/together. Member FDIC.
Looking for unparalleled success in PR and marketing? Look no further than Thompson & Bender, the leader in strategic communications. With over 30 years of expertise, they've mastered everything from PR and advertising to social media and event marketing, ensuring their clients' success. Recognized with awards like the Business Council of Westchester Hall of Fame, City and State Power 100, and voted Best in Westchester for advertising, public relations, and social media by 914 Inc., their track record speaks for itself. Join the ranks of clients from Fortune 500 corporations, small businesses, educational and healthcare institutions, and many more who've benefited from their innovative strategies. Trust Thompson & Bender to elevate your brand to new heights. Welcome, everyone. To get started, I'd love to just hear a little bit about each of you and your businesses. Peter, why don't we start with you?
Sure. I'm Peter Pockriss. I'm the COO of Historic Hudson Valley. We're a large cultural organization here in Westchester, operate a series of historic sites, welcome the public for tours, school kids on field trips, and events like the Great Jack-O-Lantern Blaze and other events that I'm sure we'll be talking about.
Which is unbelievable.
Mitch?
I'm Mitch Baruchowitz, the majority owner and CEO of Westchester Soccer Club, Westchester's first homegrown professional sports team, and a new League One, United Soccer League League One team that plays in Memorial Field at the stadium in Mount Vernon.
Thank you for being here. Geoff?
I'm Geoff Thompson from Thompson Ciders, Thompson Cider Mill in Croton, and fall is my time. It's fall for the cider business is like Christmas for retailers. So in the Hudson Valley, everything's about apples and cider in the fall, and I'm proud to be a part of it, little part, but part of it.
We love it. It smells like apple and cider in the studio right now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think I can have some of that cider right now. So, Geoff, Thompson's Cider Mill is a Westchester fall staple. How did it all get started, and what inspired you to pursue this path?
Well, I can tell you, I didn't come from it from my family. Nobody was a farmer that I know of, but I got interested in it when I was working at T-Town Reservation, which is a large nature center adjacent to my property. And I don't want to drag the story out too much, but I got discovered making cider on a hand press there at an public event one day. I tasted it, and I went, "Wow, this is the nectar of the gods." And so I bought my own hand cider press, started making it, put it out in an honor box and a cold chest on this road, and people started buying it. And somehow I decided time for me to get in the cider business. So that was 40 some years ago now, and so it's a pretty robust business in the fall now for sure. And plus, now we have 9 different hard ciders, so those sell year round, and that's a big aspect of the business at this point.
And how many people come and visit the cider mill each year?
more than I can handle at the mill itself. So now we actually go, we sort of truck our stuff over 1 mile to Sundial Farm, which is right on the interchange of Route 134 and the Taconic Parkway. And because we have hundreds and hundreds of people, especially in October, probably 80% of the business is in October. And so, yeah, it's very, I don't know a count, but I can tell you there's thousands of people that show up.
We love it.
That's tremendous. Thank you. Mitch, go sports. Fall, big season. What does this time of year look like for Westchester Soccer Club?
Well, it's always an exciting time when you have back to school. So this is our first year. So I can't tell you from the pro perspective what the fall looks like, but I can say that we have a huge academy as well, a youth academy with over 200 players. So they'll be traveling all over the tri-state area, some national tournaments. Our pro team is in the playoff hunt. So that will be like, this is the drive to get to the playoffs and to see what happens there. You know, late fall, like November, could be a time where there's plenty of people drinking cider in our stadium and cheering us on. You know, the biggest thing is really harnessing that back to school energy, the youth energy. Everyone in some way is chasing some type of soccer if they have young kids around Westchester. So the fall is really a time to take the maximum amount of that energy, turn it into either fans and stands or academy tryouts. So for us, yeah, fall is like a massive, like we've just come out of the heat of summer. It's been 90 degrees for every game. Now we get a little bit more cooler nights, a little bit more enjoyable for the fans to watch the playoff chase for us.
Cool vibes. Thanks.
Yeah.
And Peter, I'm sure this is such a busy time of year for historic Hudson Valley. How are you feeling heading into your upcoming spooky Halloween season?
We're feeling really good. Of course, we have our fingers crossed. It's all about the weather, right? Good weather means a good season and people coming. But we had a good year last year. We're feeling good about this year, although we have our fingers crossed, that people will come and the weather will hold out and that people will open up their pocketbooks and buy tickets and merchandise and other things. So
the Blaze is the big event, right, in Croton?
It's the big driver, absolutely, and
it's amazing.
21st year this year.
Yeah, it is truly an experience to go to the Blaze and see those thousands of jack-o'-lanterns. It becomes a family tradition.
It does.
It's wonderful, not to mention all of your other wonderful, wonderful properties.
It does.
Speaking of just a quick tradition, so fun fact, I actually volunteered for Van Cortlandt Manor when the Blaze first started.
Oh, wow.
So
wow.
I'll have to break out some of the photos and show them to you.
I want to see them, right.
I'll
that's
great
to
go up into the archives and find them for you.
Yeah,
so.
Well, it's come along. We started this, and I've been at Historic Hudson Valley for a while, so I was around. We started it a little over 21 years ago. And who knew, but that first year, we started off, we just all did it ourselves. We carved the pumpkins. And 17,000 people showed up, and we said, oh, wow, we had no idea. And we have something here, and here we are.
Well, thank you for that.
Thank you. Tremendous. So cool. So, Geoff, I know you are eating, sleeping, just breathing cider. Take us through a typical day at the cider meal at this time of year.
Well, we make cider once a week. So it's every Friday evening. I used to make it on Saturdays, and a lot of people would watch. It became impossible because there's so many people there. So we now make it Friday night, and I do invite people to come over on an invite basis to watch it. It's an interesting process. I always said it's totally analog. You can understand, anybody can understand everything from soup to nuts, not like your cell phone or how it works or something like that. But it's we start off blending about 10 varieties in the beginning of the season. By the time we get to Thanksgiving, we're up to almost 30 varieties mixed in. So it's the fresh cider we make is renowned, and anybody that's ever tasted it will tell you it's the best they've ever had. And I actually think it is the best I've ever had. And so we also sell a huge variety of apples. I have an orchard of about 500 trees. The orchard goes back to the 1880s. None of those old trees are there, obviously, but so we grow a lot of antique or heirloom varieties, and we have about 30 varieties on for sale, beginning with about 10 at September right now, and then we get into November, we have about 30 varieties available. So it's crazy.
Wow. And of course, cider being the main event, what are some of the other fan favorite products or traditions that, your visitors and guests can look forward to each season?
Oh, donuts.
Yummy. They're out of this world.
And I'm nuts, but I'm not insane. I always say I will not make donuts. I get them fresh every morning and from a farm bakery nearby, but we sell thousands of donuts. I mean, it's crazy. I had a guy call me at 7:30 at night saying, I'm coming up now. I said, well, I closed 2 hours ago. He said, yeah, but my kids are in the car. They want donuts. I said, where are you coming from? Staten Island, he said. I said, seriously, okay, I'll stay open for you.
Wow. It sounds like a perfect fall day or an evening for people to spend. I'm Marsha Gordon. I'm President and CEO of the Business Council of Westchester, here with Amanda DePalma, Senior Vice President. And we want to thank our sponsors, Thompson & Bender and M&T Bank, and we will be right back.
Looking for unparalleled success in PR and marketing? Look no further than Thompson & Bender, the leader in strategic communications. With over 30 years of expertise, they've mastered everything from PR and advertising to social media and event marketing, ensuring their clients' success. Recognized with awards like the Business Council of Westchester Hall of Fame, City and State Power 100, and voted Best in Westchester for advertising, public relations, and social media by 914 Inc., their track record speaks for itself. Join the ranks of clients from Fortune 500 corporations, small businesses, educational and healthcare institutions, and many more who've benefited from their innovative strategies. Trust Thompson & Bender to elevate your brand to new heights.
At M&T Bank, we believe in making banking simple for our customers, like we did for Margarita, the CEO of Mas Panadas, a woman-owned empanada company.
M&T has taken a significant weight off her shoulders with their tools, their support. I don't want to be worried about banking and worrying about my finances just not running smoothly. And if there's any snag, that I can just grab the phone and call and get help.
See what banking together can do for you at mtb.com/together. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to What's Trending on the BCW Podcast Network. Our guests today are Mitch Baruchowitz, Principal Owner and CEO of Westchester Soccer Club, Peter Pockriss, Chief Operating Officer of Historic Hudson Valley, and Geoff Thompson, owner of Thompson Cider Mill and Orchard in Croton-on-Hudson and founding partner of Thompson & Bender. Mitch, your club is known for more than just athletics. Can you talk about the role Westchester Soccer Club plays in youth development and community building? And you talk a little bit about where you are and how you have helped build the community Mount Vernon?
Well, obviously we're new, but we acquired an academy that already existed. So we have a whole youth development program. And truthfully, one of the dreams would be to have kids at 8 or 9 years old join our program, and then at 16 or 17, they're getting on the actual professional field, which would be like a real dream for Westchester, I think, developing homegrown talent that people can watch. But we've already done an open tryout with the Boys and Girls Club of New Rochelle, where we had something like 350 kids try out. We gave scholarships, so we're really plugging into not just the people who can pay for, elite soccer training, but anyone of any socioeconomic status can come and get in our academy. We're working actually also on a non-resident program where families will host kids from other countries that want to get a youth development experience in the United States. So one great thing, and I'm sure you guys all know this, is Westchester is a really great place to live. So players and youth players in the region are actually flocking to us. So we did an open tryout for our youth academy about 8 weeks ago and had 800 kids try out for about 50 spots.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so our role now will be to work with other academies and find that pro level, that pro pathway, and then develop those kids so that the fans in our stands can one day say, that's a local kid, to really harnessing that energy into this cohesive community development, soccer development, and health and wellness.
It's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for that.
And Mitch, being that Westchester Soccer Club is sort of new to the area, but Peter, I imagine running a museum that's just been rooted in such history around here has its unique challenges. What are some of the biggest ones that you've faced, and how have you overcome them?
Good question. Well, certainly being relevant, the way people spend their leisure time is changing dramatically, has been over the last decade or so, continuing to be relevant where we can teach and educate, but also entertain at the same time and get people and families to come visit. So it's that mix of history and learning history, and sometimes it's hard history. It's not always easy history. Mixing that with offering people an enjoyable time and wanting them to come to the historic sites or check out our digital resources. A lot of our stuff is digital and online. So it's that mix, and of course, always funding. I mean, all the nonprofits. You hear it over and over again, but certainly raising funds and generating revenue to both take care of our properties and to program them, and it's getting increasingly tough for all of us in the nonprofit sector.
Peter, can you just go into some of the other properties that you have and some of the other things besides
sure,
Blaze?
Because we're a lot more than Blaze. We operate historic sites that include Washington Irving's Sunnyside, which is in Irvington. And by the way, Irving, the word donut was coined by our very own, Westchester's very own Washington Irving. I won't go into the details, but we take great pride in that.
What a fun fact.
I had no idea.
You've heard it here on the BCW Podcast Network. What's trending?
It's a cool story. But anyway, Sunnyside, Phillipsburg Manor in Sleepy Hollow, which is a former provisioning plantation where we tell the story of slavery in the colonial North and the fact that slavery took place here and was a key part of the local economy and the business world up here. Van Cortlandt Manor in Croton, where we operate the Blaze, but also do tours and interpret another historical period. The Union Church of Picantico Hills, with its stained glass windows by Matisse and Chagall, and Kykuit, the Rockefeller Estate.
It's wonderful.
Gorgeous properties.
It's wonderful. Geoff, there's a clear passion behind your products. What makes your cider unique, whether it's the ingredients, the production methods, or the traditions that inspire your work?
I would say the cider is unique because of the varieties that are in it. I set aside certain varieties so that I have them even later in the year. If they're an early variety that keeps well, I'll keep them. Nobody else spends the time or the effort to blend all these varieties together. It's too time consuming. So the fact that we also, the apples come in these 20 bushel bins, these huge boxes you'll see outside of every orchard. We take them and dump them into bushel boxes, and that's what we feed in, so we can really mix up the varieties, a lot. And that's a major feature of why our cider is unique.
Mitch, with the world of sports constantly evolving, what are some trends you are seeing that are shaping how club plans for growth and new programming?
I think sports, especially at our level, is hyper-local. That's one thing that's definitely changing, where there's much more of a community aspect. And, whether it's specific events that we're doing or a night that we might be doing for, like we had a Westchester night for our opening night, I think what you're seeing is that sports is becoming... People don't want to travel as much, the hassle, the traffic, to get to the bigger venues like Yankee Stadium or Citi Field. So I think there's this hyper-local element where ease, convenience, where like a place like a Westchester is beneficial, and we're in a league that's sort of feeding that second city mentality where we're right in the shadow of Gotham and we're 20 miles from Manhattan, so people get like the best of both worlds. But we can still provide like a real professional sporting environment. When you guys were there last week, you saw that energy of having 25, 3,000, 4,000. So instead of like the scale 20,000 people, providing the same type of experience with 3 or 4 can be a lot more, I guess, enjoyable for families, for ease, for young kids. So I think you're seeing like more family friendly. I think there's like this regression to family friendly, not trying to be so edgy, provide like the shark you can kick the ball into, and ice cream and face painting. And we have the photo booth that was right next to you guys where you set up. So I think really you're seeing a real trend of family friendly, a little bit of a throwback, which Westchester's always been a little bit of a throwback to, earlier sensibility of like community. And I think that you're seeing a lot of that across like the sports world. That's what people are trying to achieve.
No, that's great. And they're, clearly you're responding to a need. So that's really the priority there.
You're listening to What's Trending on the BCW Podcast Network. So, Peter, we were talking before about some of the impacts on, nationally and statewide. What are your plans for the future?
To do more of what we're doing.
I think those are very, very good plans.
But really pushing as a nonprofit to push the pedal on the earned revenue and more events, especially in the Halloween season, where we can, as competition for contributed dollars gets tougher or those dollars go away in certain cases, these events, create wonderful experiences, but also help to generate revenue and tangential things like the museum shops that we run or the food and beverage
all the
service.
Wands that I bought for my grandchildren, and all the candy and the cider that's there and everything else. It all adds up. So it makes for a fun night. And it keeps those dollars flowing.
Right.
We're all about economic activity.
And we're doing, I should say we're doing some new events this fall. I won't go into them, but we're adding 3 new events and experiences, all much smaller than the Blaze.
Wonderful.
But will enrich the experience for tourists coming to the region and local residents.
And the Blaze, because we have listeners from all over, the Blaze is also in other places. It's in Long Island, correct?
Actually, after a 5-year run out on Long Island, we are not going back this year, focusing on these new events here in Westchester.
Wonderful. Love it. Thank you so much.
So we will definitely have to stay tuned for those.
Yeah, I think our marketing department they're still finalizing names and titles for these 3,
we won't get you in trouble just yet. We'll hear about them.
Yeah.
So back to food and drink for a bit. Geoff, as interest continues to rise in locally sourced and artisanal food and drink, how has that growing movement impacted your business?
Oh, it definitely has. And, something that's worth talking about is on the weekends in October, the number of people that come out of New York City up to Westchester is unbelievable. And that's the country. And really, even Southern Yorktown is pretty much the way it's been for the last 50 years or longer. So the whole idea of the artisanal making of the cider, the getting out in the country and really experiencing the apples, fresh apples, the comments you get are just beautiful. People just love it. And I think really Westchester, there's only 3 cider mills left in Westchester. Mine, Outhouse Orchards, and Harvest Moon, up in North Salem. But that's it. And it used to be a lot more, but it's changing. But really the Hudson Valley's always been known for its apples. It's one of the apple capitals of the universe as far as I'm concerned. And I'm proud to be part of it. I really am.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for that and contributing to sort of that conservation of that part of our history in our area. So that's great. So I want to jump ahead and I want to just sort of give everybody a chance here. So each of the organizations that you all are with, bring really something special to Westchester and to this season. What do you think makes fall in Westchester, truly unique? Mitch, you want to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a transplant. I grew up on Long Island and spent years in Boston in school, and much I used to go pick apples up in what I considered upstate. And in fact, we asked our players, like on an Instagram question, is Westchester upstate? Because I think there's this perception, much like you were saying, about it being so far from New York City, but it's right here. So I think the fall, first of all, you get the great fall foliage and all that stuff. You have apples. Now we have sports. I think all the historical stuff, I'm very interested in maybe doing a historical night at the stadium because of how many kids and families we bring, because I think this is such a rich historical place from, Rye, where I grew up. They still have where I grew up, where my kids are growing up, where you have the wheel that made the bread. And I think it's such an incredible thing. Our colors are blue and yellow because of the Dutch and English roots, and the golden apple is Westchester's official nickname. So I think it's an amazing place in the fall. You get everything you'd want from fall sports, the Rye-Harrison football rivalry, that kind of stuff, but also the food and all the beautiful sunsets and really the change of the seasons is amazing here.
And let me just jump in here because we are getting short on time. Can you just also each just say how both the community and other businesses can best support local institutions like yours, whether by visiting, volunteering, how it is? And we're going to just ask each of you to wrap up in that.
I'll be quick. For us, we're soccer, so we have games where we really are bringing together a decent amount of people for Westchester, and so partnering with other institutions, whether it's exposing their brands, field boards, we're on MSG, so you can catch us on there, ESPN Plus, so we can actually bring a pretty broad audience to any company, but we're looking for hyper-local partners from the food trucks that come there, maybe cider. But again, partnering with other camps and cultural institutions is really, that's going to embed us further and bring awareness, which is what we want to do.
Geoff, what makes fall so special in Westchester, and what can others do to support you?
Well, I just urge people to come by and try the ciders and try
it's
the
fabulous.
apples. It's a cool thing.
And especially moving a little further into our season, the hard cider makes wonderful, wonderful holiday gifts as well.
Oh, yeah. It's fantastic. The hard
Good
cider
idea.
is available year-round, by the way. So the hard cider is great. But to me, it's all about the Hudson Valley. And Westchester is the gateway to the Hudson Valley for sure.
And Peter?
Yeah, I agree. It's this mixture of the natural beauty, the history, the storytelling of Irving and his lore, and food, delicious food and local agriculture. And it's also close to the city, and that's what we find. A lot of Blaze visitors, increasing number of Blaze visitors are coming from out of town, up from the city. It's the country just a stone's throw away.
So what I'm hearing is everyone can get their holiday shopping done early by getting tickets to Westchester Soccer, Historic Hudson Valley, and hard cider. So I think our job is done here.
I think we have just found out what's trending in the Hudson Valley this time of year.
Thank you, Peter, Mitch, and Geoff, for joining us and for the incredible work you do to enrich the Westchester community and make fall truly special. Whether it's grabbing a glass of fresh cider, heading to the soccer match, or getting into the Halloween spirit, we hope today's episode inspires you to explore all that's happening in your own backyard.
And thank you again to our sponsors, M&T Bank and Thompson & Bender. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Be sure to check out the BCW Podcast Network's expansive lineup of shows. Leadership Unleashed, What's Trending, Advocacy and Politics Unplugged, The Member Spotlight, and Nonprofit Voices of Impact. The Business Council of Westchester is the county's largest business membership organization focusing on economic development and advocacy. With over 1,100 members, it is our mission to work for the profitability of our members and the prosperity of the Westchester community. To learn more, go to thebcw.org.